Well, ladies and gentlemen, so today we are going to be covering our conjunctions video. And today we're going to be doing a three planetary conjunction of Moon, Mercury, and Ketu. Meaning Moon, Mercury, and the south node of the Moon, Ketu. What happens when these three planets are conjunct together in your horoscope? And the meaning that I'm going to provide, I'm going to pretend like these are very closely conjunct. You know, because sometimes conjunctions can be loose. A zodiac sign is 30 degrees long. In one zodiac sign, planets can be anywhere. They can be 10 degrees apart, 20 degrees apart. One planet can be at 1 degree, the other planet can be at 2 degrees, the third planet can be at 29 degrees. So that's like a lot of difference, in the energy fields in the conjunction. But I'm just going to pretend that they're close. So your meaning could be light, could be very strong. And as always, if you do not know what conjunctions you have, if you have this conjunction, what degrees it's at, for all that information, check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, where you will find all the details of your planetary information, including my books, Astrology, Conjunction, and Aspects of the Speed of Light, including all my consultations at this link. So, Moon, Mercury, and Ketu conjunction. And last week, as you know, we covered Moon, Mercury, and Rahu conjunction. This conjunction, in a higher dimensional way, pretty much the same, because Rahu and Ketu are the same entity. They're same body. They always produce the same kind of results. What happens here, though, with the south node of the Moon, Ketu, when these three planets are conjunct together, growing up, you were just one of those weird kids. That's like the foundation that you will find with this conjunction. Like just those kids that people had a hard time understanding. Your fellow students had a hard time understanding, like, man, this boy is weird, man. This guy is just a little bit off. And especially with the closeness of this conjunction. And remember, the conjunction meaning that I'm giving can go from 40% accuracy to 100% accuracy, depending upon what sign they're placed in, what houses they're placed in. So this is simply a basic foundational meaning. I don't know where this conjunction is placed in your horoscope. This could be in the 8th house, which will be far different than if it's placed in the 5th house. So this is something you have to understand. But what happens is, Moon is your mind. Moon is your mother. What makes you feel happy, your emotions. Then comes Mercury. Mercury is your speech, your communication skills. Mercury is your calculative skills, your realistic, analytical, and logical skills. Mercury also represents your siblings. Then comes the south node of the Moon, Ketu. Ketu is about detachment, separation. It's about letting go of material attachments and embracing the spiritual attachments. Ketu is the energy that gives interest towards, yoga, meditation, occult, mysticism, sorcery, astrology, numerology. All of these things are conjunct with or related to this Ketu. So when these three planets are conjunct, what it shows that early on in life, a person tends to feel separate from their mind and action. They are not able to understand that what they're doing is something that they're supposed to do and they must do. They cannot figure out if this is in early youth, like they cannot figure out what they're doing, is it logical or analytical? They are the ones who just like to be in their room, like to listen to the most awkward music, and people feel like, what is wrong with you? Why are you listening to this music? Because the thing is, the engineering of the brain is trying to figure out who they are. Because Ketu is a headless body. When your mind and intelligence, Mercury, when your mind and your analytical, energy is conjunct this Ketu, the mind feels like, and the intelligence feels like it's walking in a morning fog with just trees and no road in sight. And you're just like searching, you're doing everything. You go through this phase of goth. You go through this phase of mathematician. You go through this phase of athlete, an artist, and a musician. And you do all these things to figure out who you are. And also, this conjunction can definitely show that a person may show a little bit of a, like this disorder of the mind early on in age. They may not listen. They may become a little bit rebel. They do not want to talk. So the parents are like, whoa, our kids cannot talk. They don't have, their speech is delayed. What's going on? And they'll go to all these psychologists, psychiatrists, and all these little, special schools for them. And then when the time is right, they'll start talking. They'll start mingling with other people. Because the thing is, this energy of Ketu shows them that they need to experience the non-attachment side of life. In youth, they experience this detachment from the mother, detachment from friends, detachment from their own emotions, because that's when they clearly see the world. But when they grow up, they take those things, the weird phases that they went through in their life, and they may make something big out of it. Whether they may become great mathematicians, they become great psychologists, psychiatrists, great accountants with this conjunction, or even great writers with this conjunction, research analysts with this conjunction, because they're able to see things as a whole. This is why it's so important to understand conjunction in this way. Like somebody, let's say, who studies stock market cannot study really stock market by trading. They're like, no, I got to separate myself from trading, and I just got to look at the stock market for what it is. Or if somebody's trying to figure out, let's say somebody wants to be a clinical psychologist for children, they will be like, no, I don't want children of my own. I don't want to deal with anything of children. I want to look at this thing as a whole. What is this adolescence age? What is this all about? And I'm going to look at it without experiencing it. I'm going to look at it from a way that I'm an alien. Because when I'm an alien, when I'm outside of this realm, I can really see what the problem is and what the solution is. So in one extreme, these guys become great, intelligent, scientific people. On the other extreme, they can become people who may displays a little bit of a mental disorder, a little bit of detachment. They can have a full mental disorder. They can have bipolarism. They can, feel like they're autistic or have dyslexia. But again, the severity of it has to be seen from the sign, from the house placement. And then you have to see this alignment or the meaning of this alignment in other divisional charts like Namansha chart, Trimsamsa chart, Drikna chart. And that's where it'll tell you that mental makeup of a person and how severe it is. Is it really going towards the mental side, or is it really going towards the genius side? Because these are like two very extremes. Like you'll see like someone like Stephen Hawking, who just is a complete genius. But a mirror image of Stephen Hawking would be somebody who just becomes a serial killer because he has no emotions. He's not attached to that human emotions. And I know many people will be like, well, I have this conjunction. Oh my God, I'm nothing like this. I'm just a simple IT person. Well, like I said, I don't know where this house's conjunction is happening in. What sign is it happening in? If one person, if one planet is being more tormented than the other, if Ketu is really having the maximum power and will overshadow both of Mercury and Moon. But yes, you will see, you definitely 100% you will see some awkwardness in youth. Because remember, Moon and Mercury are very wobbly planets. These are the planets that don't really have a solid ground of their own. They're like mud, Moon and Mercury. They flow with the tide of the mud and tide of the water or the wind. So whenever they conjunct or aspected by another planet, they'll really kind of lose their own identity and they'll try to be like that other planet. So whenever you try to see somebody's, even let's say you try to predict a time period for someone, let's say you're looking at a Mahadasha and you're like, well, you're running to Moon, Mahadasha and Mercury Antradasha, this will happen. But the thing is, it may not happen because of the fact they're very changing planets. Mercury represents change. It's a quick moving planet. Mercury represents sunrise and sunset. Some things changing, you know. Sunrise and sunset is happening. The daytime is changing to nighttime. Moon is, you know, a changing planet because the fastest moving planet, 2.5 days is gone from a zodiac sign. It doesn't really have this solid groundness on its own. So with this conjunction, the older the person gets, the more solid they become in their, because it's like you take a wet mud early on in the adolescence, which is Mercury and Mars. But if you, let's say, do not add any more water or any more clay to this wet muddy thing, over time it'll get hard. Once it gets hard, it becomes rock solid. So then the decisions that are made, the judgment that you make in your life is a bit more solid than before. Before you're like, you like this person now and you don't like this person after an hour. Because at the adolescence, at the teenage year, even the early 20s, this conjunction just like, it's muddied up. It's not dried yet. But like, you know, like if, for example, if this occurs in the 5th house, person will do very well in research-based studies, dealing with numbers, dealing with mathematics, calculus. With other houses, it can be, you know, completely opposite. Okay? And this will also show that your mother is probably very good in mathematics. Your mother spoke very little, but when she spoke, or when she speaks after really calculating her words, or what she should say and what she should not say. But, you know, this is just that conjunction that runs into both extremes. Okay? So guys, this is my analysis of Moon Mercury Ketu conjunction. If you're new in my channel, subscribe below. Again, if you want to know where your conjunctions are placed and what planetary placements you have, all my books, consultations, for that check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.